These are going to be our notes for 5.2. So you can either use the note sheet that I provided in the classroom, or you can open up your own Notability. But please do make sure that you've changed the title to 5.2 notes, and you have put the biome name, which is Tundra, Tundra, next to that, so you can identify what 5.2 contained. Here we go. So we're going to start off with the climate first. So the tundra climate and its location. So the location is that it's actually a band below the polar caps across the northern part of the globe. It's located between the Arctic Circle to the 70 degrees north latitude, and it's actually only found in the northern hemisphere. The temperature, remember, the climate is involving the temperature and the precipitation either average or annually. So the temperature range for the tundra can go from negative 70 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius. So I'm using the metric system here because that's what we use in science. But to give you a better frame of reference, I've put parenthetically what that means in Fahrenheit. So that would translate to, in the tundra, the coldest it average gets on average is negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit, to the high temperature on average is about 54 degrees Fahrenheit. The precipitation that they get annually is 15 centimeters to 25 centimeters, which would be 6 to 10 inches. So that means in the 12 months in the year, they only get between 15 to 25 centimeters of precipitation. And that precipitation is usually snow. So that isn't a lot that would be enough to sustain a lot of plant life. Speaking of plants, there is something that is unique to the tundra, is that there's this thing called the permafrost. And you could kind of see in my diagram right here, the permafrost is this layer right there, and it goes further deep down. And what the permafrost is it actually is a permanently frozen surface or soil below the surface. So you can kind of see perma impermanently. That's where they get the permafrost. So it's permanently frozen soil beneath the surface. This is a key term that you're going to need to know and understand. So make sure, if you haven't done so, you underline or highlight it in your notes, because this is a unique characteristic to the tundra. And with the warmer temperatures, it's about 60 to 80 days a year that the temperatures are above freezing. So the top layer, or that active layer in the diagram, defrosts and thaws, but that will continue to defrost and freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw, which also prohibits larger plants with roots to grow here. The types of plants that will grow in the tundra will be some shrubs, mosses, grasses, lichen, things that are very small and low to the ground. There are absolutely no trees there. So one thing you could do is, write trees, put a line through it like that. There's no trees in the tundra whatsoever. Because this is quite a harsh environment, the plants have had to develop some adaptations in order to survive in this region. So many plants, especially in our biome, they do not sprout or grow until the snow has completely melted and the ground has thawed. However, the plants in the tundra will actually start to grow underneath a layer of snow, and they will do photosynthesis in extremely cold temperatures, which other biomes are normally won't have. The plants won't do that underneath the very cold temperatures. So it just requires a lot of energy. The plants also have very, very tiny, small leaf structures, so that there's less surface area that can be exposed to be frostbitten. And the plants are going to flower quickly during the warmer months, just to make sure that they have time to go through their full life cycle before things get too cold again and they get frozen. Now, you can imagine in this type of place that's cold and there's got that layer of permafrost. Remember, we talk about soil, we ask the question, can crops grow there? So obviously the tundra soil is not useful for farming whatsoever. The plants have shallow roots due to that layer of permafrost, that permanently frozen soil. So the thing about the tundra is that their growing season lasts about 6 weeks. So that's not enough time for crops to reach maturity, for like flowers to turn into fruits, or for corn to grow, or anything like that. So this is another reason why the tundra is not conducive for growing crops. There are a variety of animals that live in the tundra. Many maybe you are familiar with, that there is the caribou, which is right here in this picture. There's Arctic hares, there's polar bears, there are wolves, there are musk ox, and snowy owls. There's obviously many, many other animals that live there, but these are just a few to highlight that so you can associate regionally where these animals can be found. Just like plants, the animals have their own adaptations as well. So these are some adaptations that the animals in the tundra may do. So they may either migrate, which means that they relocate for the colder seasons, or they will hibernate, so they will go to sleep and effectively slow their systems down. They will have lots of heavy fur to trap the warmth of their bodies, as well as a layer of blubber, which is like a thick layer of fat to stay warm. Kind of think about it like an insulator. They have white fur, which will help them to camouflage. And you can see it actually works really well in this picture over here with the fox, that it blends in and camouflages with the snow. And they also have compact bodies and small ears to conserve heat. So all of the animals, their ears won't protrude too far from their head because that's a good place to lose a lot of body heat. So even polar bears have small ears in relation to their bodies. This concludes our notes on the tundra, notes for 5.2. And I hope that you have learned something new about this northern Arctic region.